I'm having another job interview in a small restaurant still here in Rapperswil, a smaller restaurant with 50-60 seats. There should be 2 cooks, and right now we are basically 2 cooks and we handle events with more seats. In short, it's a mess. So let's see how it goes. And hoping it's something good because I was fired from the other place. Yes, I was fired. Even though it's not exactly like that. But maybe I'll make a nice dedicated video about that, which will probably come out before this one.
And it will be this.
There will be some catchy title like I was fired in Switzerland, etc., etc. As for the little restaurant, it's this one here, even though there's a downpour. And I can't show you almost anything because it's really raining a lot, and thank goodness. Because it was absolutely freaking hot. You couldn't sleep. Last night I slept 3 hours because you couldn't breathe. Let's hope. Actually, I have already spoken with the owner, because when I was putting my resume in the mail, I met him by pure chance. I've already talked to him. He speaks Italian. Let's hope to be able to finalize something. Today I will know more information, contracts, vacations, etc. And let's see. Hoping it's something decent. I am not someone who backs down when there's work to be done, but when you're doing the work of 3 people and you're alone, maybe it's time to let it go and really step back. Also because if you don't change and don't look for something better, you'll never get anything more than what you already have. So, unfortunately, especially if you don't work with Swiss people, like in my case, there's no raise at the end of the year. In fact, my boss is doing everything to pay me less and less. Anyway, in that video where I got fired, there are all the details about what was wrong, etc., etc., about the job. Previously. This was then the inside of the little restaurant. Cute, yes, a bit old school, a classic place for Swiss people, so Italian cuisine. It had little Italian, yes, a few things, but, well, cream in the carbonara, many other things, cream, a bit everywhere. It's a daily menu for an industrial area, with an a la carte menu in the evening. I must say that at the beginning I really had high hopes. You can also easily see here that the kitchen is not even small. Unfortunately, things didn't go quite as well as hoped. And here we are, folks. On the first day of work, there are 10 minutes left. I'm about to start working. I'm a bit nervous, definitely. I'm tired because I worked at the other job until yesterday. A bit bitter too because I actually like the other job. There are things that are truly unbearable and certain attitudes. Even worse, however, beyond that. I didn't mind the job itself. If things could be discussed and organized differently, it would have been a great job. Unfortunately, though, the change of contract. By the way, there's a video above this one where I explain in more detail what happened. Actually, there are 2 videos, go check them out. Unfortunately, I didn't expect it, and I can't stay in Switzerland for 3 months without working, because for each month I practically have 3,000 euros in fixed expenses. And besides other expenses, gasoline, etc., etc., food, which I haven't calculated, I'm only talking about the fixed expenses that are deducted every time I receive a payment, 3,000 euros. If we also calculate what I eat, it's at least 3,800. 800 euros? It's at least 3,800 euros? It's at least 3,800 euros. Euros. That go away every month just to survive here. Then there are certainly other expenses, unforeseen things, etc. You also understand that it's not feasible with a gross salary of $5,000, which is ultimately 4,100 net. I managed to save 500 to 600 euros, in short. So I had to change jobs out of necessity. My new boss seems nice, but they all seem nice. At the beginning, so I'll be able to tell you more later, maybe even in this video. I'll definitely tell you later how the first half day of work went, even though in the first week, guys, I will understand little to nothing. Until you know the dishes, until you also know the position of things, it's all a bit of a mess. Beyond that, more or less. Well, wish me good luck. There's a bit of nervousness, honestly, but what can you do? Well, guys, here.
Meanwhile, it's literally pouring rain. The half day is over.
I didn't work like another cooked, cleaned, prepared. At least. From 10 to 2. It's 11. 12. 1, 2, that's 4 hours. Tonight from 6 to 10, that's another 4 hours, 4.5 hours. 4.5 days. I'm not complaining, really. Then maybe slowly later on I'll change my mind. But honestly, if you work in catering, it's more or less all the same crap. Unfortunately, I would also add,
Whether you do it here or in Italy, it really makes little difference.
the only difference is that here, you can save something at the end of the month, even if it's just a little, because it depends on whether you've been sick or not. Because the moment you get sick, everything you've saved up in the previous months is gone. If you're careful. For the rest, let's hope for the best. I hope it goes well. I hope to have 3 months to sit down, talk, and maybe get a little raise or something like that. I couldn't tell you though, because it's not that easy. And I can't predict the future especially. Beyond that, I'll update you as soon as I know something. Now I have to go to the gym, because obesity is getting the better of my common sense. I'll leave you with a showcase of dishes and things we created in the first job, and we've really made a lot of stuff. Sorry if some are vertical and others are horizontal, but I recorded them randomly while working these past months. I would be lying if I said I wasn't upset about changing jobs and that things went the way they did, but in fact, unfortunately, life works a bit like that. Sometimes you have to take care of yourself a little and not just go along with someone to keep a job. There's a lot of it, and I decided a long time ago to work to live, not to live just to work. I am very happy, however, to have remained on good terms with these people over the months. Then I returned many times to help with making menus, to lend a hand at banquets, at lunchtime menus. In my free time, they helped me, and then when I needed to make some extra money, it was truly a more pleasant experience than I expected. I'm also sorry that in the new place, things didn't go exactly as I expected. I honestly had a bad impression. At first, I hoped and masked this feeling of mine, but unfortunately, as usual, I was right. Regarding this, however, I would say it's not the place to talk about it here. But I will make separate videos for you. Okay, because little spoiler, it didn't last. After 3 months, they were supposed to fire me to then redo the contract. And in the end, things went completely wrong. I didn't expect to be treated in such a bad, arrogant, and especially unfair way. Sometimes, because I have always given 100% and I always give 100% in what I do when I work. You can also see it from these dishes, which may not be the most modern of all, but they are truly beautiful, and above all, they were really liked by people. More than this, I really wouldn't know what to do. I reached the point of doubting myself in the new job, the one from this video where I did the trial. I really reached a point where I am thinking, and I thought that maybe I should stop being a cook and do something else, but at the moment it's really impossible for me. Then things started to fade away a bit somehow. I survived for 3 months and then everything kind of deteriorated. I would be sorry to leave Switzerland because I've already made all this effort to move there, but honestly, I'm thinking about it. I'm considering whether to move or not. And fortunately, I've already looked around a bit, even though I changed jobs. I don't want to go into too much detail because there will be videos coming out. And I have also been quite lucky. I hope I am up to the task and able to do the things that will be asked of me. Then requests, having found a Swiss employer. Really. A thank you to those people who helped me with my first job, to have a job, to get a permit for things. We have done so many things, events, parties, celebrations, you can see it here too. We cooked all sorts of things, we made daily menus for the elderly, children, really so many things. I'm sorry especially because at the beginning, because these people had opened the restaurant at the start, things were so complicated. Even though fortunately, later, they managed to resolve things with time and a lot of hard work. Well, that's all for this video and we'll see each other next time. Please subscribe because I really care about having you here with me.